until the lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter. And yes, by all means, we shall say that again. Folks, I said until the lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter. Hello and welcome to the most opinionated hour on radio and the nation's thought-provoking hour. I am Nana Ansah Kwao IV, Chief of the Little Republic of Akwemu Edumasa, and I say thank God it's Monday. It's been a while, it's been a long while, and oh, have I missed you, and I'm sure you have missed this ritual, our once in a week unique ritual where we all meet from all walks of intelligence, and we meet for one purpose, to show love to nation. Let me welcome you once again to the ritual I call That's My Opinion, only on Joy 99.7 FM, every Monday at the same time. Set to your clocks. So at this point, I say let us all gather and make truth good. Our topic today, folks, supply of workers versus demand of workers. Supply of workers versus demand of workers. Folks, you may call it a ticking bomb, but the number of unemployed youth, as per recent statistics, is worryingly too high. And this is certainly not the first time we have talked about issues of employment here. But can we stop while we are staring at the face of looming danger? Folks, according to the third quarter labor statistics report of Ghana 2022 Annual Household Income and Expenditure Survey, released by Ghana Statistical Service, 2.5 million youth are not engaged in any form of education, training, or employment. What did them guy? They said 2.5 million youth. That's like the whole of Equatorial Guinea. It's like the whole of Equatorial Guinea or the whole of Singapore, folks. Youth are not engaged in any form of education, or no training, or no bia. So you ask yourself, what are they doing? And now they are youth, so it's fine if you don't do anything well. But what will they be doing when they are much older? Probably a question to be answered another day. Folks, we can't leave the country to chance. We must be cautiously deliberate in the building, planning, shaping, and directing, particularly the youth, towards real opportunities, real expectations, real psyche. Get this elitism and dream and fantasizing about materialistic things out of their minds while they are young before they grow. Because there are lots of opportunities right here in Ghana. Folks, Filipinos are trooping in. The Chinese are coming in their numbers. You ask yourselves, what are they coming to do? Is it to join the unemployed queue? If not, then why are people coming to a country supposedly with no jobs? Why are people flying in? They get a visa and fly in, and when they come, they are bugging the immigration people. They want work permit, they want to stay. Is it just to come here to be unemployed, or is it that they are seeing something that we are not seeing? Is it that they are bringing some qualities, some psyche, something which the job market here is demanding that we are not producing? Something. Because here, clearly, they are not here to work for Red Cross or any aid. They're here to work for business, work for money. And they are getting the jobs. Before I go on, let me say thank you to Dr. Priscilla Chumesi Balfour, fantastic, of the Economic Department, University of Ghana. I met up with her to get some figures and get some tutorials or get some apport on the subject matter, and she was very patient. She was very kind. After the engagement, I said, "Come on, diploma because she said, if you're not my being kakra, send a doctor, mom, diploma." Folks, indeed, I coined the topic from something she said with regards to, the amount of people we are supplying against the amount of people that that's on demand. Folks, what is demand in terms of labor, and what are we supplying? Yes, folks, it's very true that as a people's spending power reduces with all these economic crises and inflation, so will their demand for goods and services. So this will directly affect the need for labor, because if I'm supplying a good, producing a good or service, and the demand goes down, then I don't need as much people to produce. And obviously employment will go up. This will directly affect the need for labor. Economics 101. Folks, this issue too is worldwide. Maybe London, America, whatever it is, they are going through the same narrative. However, folks, we may not be able to base our predicament on world events, even though we are part of the world. One will say why. Folks, you see, because of the needless quantum of imports of goods that we consume. Needless. A great number of which we can produce here, some of which we can even export. Yet we sit aloof and import and consume. So how, do you say I can't get a job while keeping others in jobs in countries far away from here by consuming their goods? You see, so that's why I'm saying that maybe we cannot say, we are seeing hiding. Fine. But have we exhausted all our opportunities, even the basic ones? Have we exhausted the basic ones to be able to base our predicament on world events? Maybe that's for the experts to come and answer it. Onions, tomatoes, pepper. Some of the things are not so technical. You put the seed in the ground, you water it, in 2-3 months, it comes out. So Minibia, I don't know, maybe some experts will come through the phone and explain to us. Because from the layman point of view, it is clearing the land, get 1 or 2 fertilizer, put the seed in there, water it, 2-3 months later, come and dig it out. And so if you're consuming millions and millions and millions of something that you could get in 3 months, and year in, year out, you continue to consume, and not even just consume, but increase in your consumption, then folks, what then is the basis to say, Miniejuma? Or I'm not even looking for work. As for me, I have given up. And then by all means, within the week, Obeto tomatoes 5 cedis, Obeto tomatoes 10 cedis, and yet Miniejuma. And it's just tomatoes, seeds in the ground, water, till, 10, and it comes. So yes, I know population growth is a major factor which I've talked about. It should be checked as a matter of urgency, because if too many people are coming in, folks, it becomes very difficult to create that many jobs for all of them. Because whether we like it or not, the clerical space is choked and double choked. Folks, but I didn't stop there. I also spoke to the head of the economics department, good brother, Professor William Bambwati. And he actually gave me a breakdown of the educational qualifications of the persons who are not employed. Quite revealing. Folks, this is not the 2.5 million who are doing nothing. 2.5 2.5, no, they are not doing anything. No, how do you sleep? Folks, if you're a father of such a youth, if you're a leader of such a youth, how do you sleep? How do you sleep? But here we are. These are the people who are looking for jobs but haven't gotten. According to the statistics, the third quarter unemployment stands at 13.7% or 1.76 million. 12.1% have no education, no school grad. 12.1%. 41.1% have up to basic school, JSS, middle school certificate. 41.1. 33.9 SHS. They finished with 2 SHS. 33.9. 1.6% vocational technical skills. Very telling. Speaking to us loud and clear. 1.6% vocational technical skills. 0.8, post-tertiary. 10% tertiary. So you're better off. So could university now, or chances of being credit. So go teacher post-tertiary and find somewhere to stand. 0.1 is others. Folks, when I suggested, and this thing I'm sure I'll keep coming back to it, when I suggested that we should have, done free skills education rather than the current blanket, model which we are operating. Folks, it's one of the most commented stories on Ghana Web. Oh, in fact, one comment even declared me mad. The guy said he knew I was mad. This was the confirmation. Declared me mad. Some called for my destillment. I was questioned as to whether I was even human. Just a proper vilification, because I had suggested that the SHS model should be skills and vocation biased. Folks, here we are. Of all the people, all the groups looking for work, just 1.6% of them are skilled and vocationally educated people who are out of work. While our English-speaking elite youth are languishing. Some of them have even given up. Folks, not only in the cities, but even in the rural areas, where one would think, you just have to go and ask the chief for, a piece of land to farm crops that are not permanent. I mean, so far as you're not going to plant mangoes or coconut or something or cashew, you can just borrow a piece of land, a parcel of land, and just plant your corn, peppers, onions. That's at no cost or nobody's business. But no, according to the stats, they are also doing nothing. Why? Well, they are half-baked. So now, also, he wants to wear a tie, he wants to wear a shirt, he wants to sit behind a desk. They're doing nothing, half-baked, and yet want white-collar jobs. They want to be police, they want to be immigration, they want to be fire service. Until then, folks, they are waiting. Until then, they are waiting. Folks, how long will they wait for? And it looks like clearly, per the numbers, they are waiting for way too long. And as they wait, the numbers are mounting up. In all honesty, folks, can we contain this? And for how long? In all honesty, folks, can we contain this? And when will the bar break? Folks, according to the 2020 census, 32% of the youth between the ages of 15 and 35 have given up. Which is 32% have given up. They are no more looking for jobs. And if you look at the numbers now, quite similar and not far off, so the system or the situation hasn't changed. And folks, whether you insult me or whether you vilify me, you shoot me, whatever it is, this is a major national security risk. It is devoid of politics, religion, tribe, radio, whatever it is. It is a real fact. You can't leave this number of youth idle. Because man will survive. Man must survive. And survive they will. But how are they surviving? They are not training. They are not in school. They are not acquiring any skills. And they are not in work. So how do they eat? How will they eat? They would grow, they would mate, they would reproduce, and they have to feed them too. How will they survive? Folks, it's a national security risk. But our politics has done us so much damage that we can't seem to see straight. Folks, we will rather stick and swear by our slogans rather than the actual problem on the ground. I know the answer with the slogan. We are going with the slogan. Every year we produce thousands and thousands of students. And based on the statistics as to whether the job market actually needs what we are teaching these children in school, it's not out yet. But then we pride ourselves in the numbers that pass through the school. We pride ourselves. Last year it was 1 million. The following year was 2 million. Just the numbers. The end result is nobody's business. The numbers that have passed through. But folks, it's time to change. And the change must be drastic. It's time to change. And the change must and should be drastic to rescue our own land. How do we sit and watch our youth in such despair and yet continue to lead them in the same path that takes them nowhere? It takes them nowhere. Just 3 years. Yes, you are out. Mumbra blue, mumbra green, mumbra they are out. Do we pause to ask, why is it that we are sending them to school? Is it just to say that Minsumi ko school nibi, so that they can speak English? So that what are they going in there to do? The end results. And if it's working, why are so many of them out there in despair? Too many out there in despair. So folks, I think we should be really hard on ourselves, swallow our pride, put the brakes on, hit the reset button and say, Charlie, enough is enough. Maybe we should task the statistical service to come and tell us that what are the jobs needed out there. I know Professor Chubesi has been going on about agro-processing. It sounds as though it's like a textbook business, but Joe, that's where the jobs are. You look at this company that does the juice, Blue Skies. Look at how many people they are mopping in the communities. Because clearly, as any society, wherever it is, you have high-level management, middle-level management, low-level management. That's how societies are shaped. And there should be space for everybody to lead a decent life. There should be space for everyone to lead a decent, honorable life. You can pay your rent, you can fend for your wife, you can fend for your children, you can have a bit of social life. Everyone is entitled to that. And so if you took something like agro-processing, it's able to mop up so many things. And I've said here severally that this Friday wear business, if they were to just one day put the brakes on and says it is everyday wear, sewing machines and threads and needles will probably run out by the following week. We will probably have Togolese and Ivorians coming into Ghana to start sewing. The amount of labor you would need just to be able to back that policy. And one thing that Professor Boateng also said was that while we are pushing skills, we should have a policy to back them, because you can't just say somebody's a carpenter, and then he comes back and can't afford wood. Or go and sew. He comes back and there's plenty used clothing cheaper than what he can produce. So whilst we are pushing people into skills, we must have policies to back them. And when we have policies to back them, then we demand from them, if not perfection, excellence. Even if it's not perfection, as for excellence, we must demand. So that some and a great number of these millions of youth will find themselves in comfortable places and eventually turn the nation around. This free this, free that, free this is just leading us the wrong path. I can't wait to hear your opinion. I have missed you so much, and it's 0302 216 541. 0302 216 541. Facebook not streaming, but YouTube. Oh, Facebook is now on. Facebook is now on and YouTube is on, so you can catch us both there. Hello, who is talking to me?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Martin Utalaboni.
Martin, let me hear you.
Yes, I share your sentiment. Ideally, given what we call social interventions, per se, will not be any bad thing to help the society also alleviate some of the hardship that we go through. But I think when it becomes so rampant, people also take it undue advantage. If you remember, during the COVID, electricity we had free for 6 months, water, all these things. And this is a free education. People say they can pay the fees. So I think that government have a good intention, but let's look at our resources and see what the way forward. That you have to review other things that so that henceforth, for instance, government gives subsidy for fertilizer, and our people, when they harvest the cocoa, go to our neighbor country and go and sell it. So the good people of Ghana don't benefit from it. So I think you have to look at the issues of this kind of subsidy policy and holistically and see that is there these measures happen or otherwise. I think if you do that way, you have that initiative. But I'll share your sentiment anyway. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in. 0302216541. We should put the brakes on. We should hit the reset button because, the median age, that's the median age, the 15 to the 35 is the largest population. And we must at all costs make sure that they are okay to do on the right path. Hello, who's talking to me?
Yeah, good evening, Nana. This is Arnold, please.
Arnold, let me hear you.
Nana, God bless you for this great work.
Thank you.
Nana, I've done some research. I've seen a Ghanaian youth, we are not lazy. Ghanaian youth are hardworking guys, but just that our targets are too high. I worked with some two guys before, Nana, by day works, but they have a target to buy iPhone. And these are the guys by the end of the week, before you pay them by day, they've smoked, they've eat, so they've taken advance salary. So by the time the week comes, their money is finished. So always they are wishing to get a work that to pay them big. That is one. Secondly, Nana, a lot of job owners, the way they treat the Ghanaian youth is the problem. Somebody's child needs a job. He comes to your house. And then the way we treat the person as a maid, you can work from morning. Child will work from a boss from morning to evening and no food. And the next time, that guy or that lady, okay, fine, let me go and look for prostitution or anything and do rest. Because he's there sacrificing, but the boss never see it. When a small fish is missing, the way they maltreat that kind of lady or that kind of guy, all those is, and most of the time I blame the government. Nana, I was saying that this government is supposed to be one of the successful government we ever have in Ghana. There's a time that people arrive now, feed the country. What is this government supposed to do? Put a lot of youth. Look at our gutters. Dry season. Clean all the gutters before rain season should come. Do your best not to be there be complaining like this kind of things. And look at where the youth of Ghana, and I'm saying that the youth of Ghana, this is a time for us to rise up and fight. Otherwise, our children will blame us because our forefathers have fought for us, but our fathers have destroyed. So the youth of Ghana, we have to rise up and fight with our blood for our children not to describe us as bad fathers. Good evening, Nana.
Good evening to you too. But one day I'll come and do. Maybe next week I'll do a follow up on also our work attitude. It's a double-edged sword, on our work attitude. There are also too many of our youth who have, I don't know, maybe they have the energy, but really negative attitude towards work. So it's a double-edged sword here. Hello, who's talking to me? Kofi, let me hear you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
And I bore you. You've been made.
I'm here.
How?
Kofi, I'm here.
So our school system is not designed to produce business owners, but rather produce good employees. That's how come when people graduate, everybody who's looking forward to be employed by the government or a big private company and get good salaries. So how would unemployment reduce with that, Nana? Me, I'm a uni graduate. I studied engineering at Maritime. But right now, I'm in delivery services. And there's a reason to that. I knew from the beginning that I like to control my own time. And also, I don't like the idea. I couldn't work under somebody for that long, So when I was down with school, my people, my family was hoping that I will find a job in this area, and I didn't like any of that because I understand it can come with some money and all that, but I just wanted to be myself. And God being so good, I'm doing this. And at least I'm not being employed. I'm not waiting for anybody to sign my check. And I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'm looking forward to also opening businesses whereby I will also employ some people. So really, and I handle like this work that I'm doing. It's not respected. Me, I see people and they look down on me all the time. They think I'm in school, but I don't care. Regardless, but how many graduates? How many graduates with their masters and their whatever? With their degree. How many of them will be considered this job? Or not, if the person is even at home, and me, I'll go and do a delivery service for the person, and he sees me and thinks that, you see the difference? Mm-hmm. But the person do not know that I'm also a uni graduate. You understand? So how many uni graduates will put their certificate aside and want to do some handiwork? It's in our upbringing. We've been raised to think that you have to get a fancy job and a special work. So everybody is looking at that direction. So how will the unemployment reduce, Nana? Let's look at our education system. And
oh, sorry. Some nice noise in the back. 0302216541. Hello, who's talking to me?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening. If you lower your radio for me.
I'm Chidiak from Safla.
Chidiak, give me a while. Let me hear you.
Sure, Nana.
Yes, sir.
Don't you also believe that the success of an African country is a threat to the West? And they will also do everything to make sure that we never succeed? When you look into it, why is it that governments that are doing well for their countries, for their citizens, are always blackmailed by the West? They praise them. Those who come to steal, empty their coffers are the ones they praise high. Those that come to help their citizens to get their daily bread on the table, 3 square meal, are demonized, killed, hung. That's where the problem is. Because they give us money. They give us everything. We are always begging. How will they encourage us to be training our labor without skills? Go SS, they come out. Free education, they all come out. They are all on the street. Nothing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a different angle. Well, it's a good angle, but I don't know how. Well, I mean, if you're encouraging somebody to, have a handy job. I mean, how do you blame somebody? Oh, America forcing me in carpentry, and I say Germany forcing me in how to wire something. So it becomes a very technical argument. Hello, who's talking to me?
Nana, good evening.
Good evening.
Nana, this is Jonathan from Oyarifa.
Good. Let me hear you, my brother.
Nana, today, I'm such a person that whenever I'm listening to anybody, not that I try to find fault with what the person is saying, but today you just spoke my mind. You spoke my mind concerning the available jobs, or whether the youth are ready, or concerning the statistical services, where exactly are these youths? Are they mainly in Accra or in Kumasi? Where are they? And all of that. But there is one thing I've always wanted to say, that before the white man came to this nation, we didn't have military, we didn't have the police, we didn't have fire service, we didn't have immigration, we didn't have the ministries, and a lot of other things. But I believe people were working in this nation, even if it wasn't Ghana as we see it. So why is it now that we have all of this, and yet there are times that we have this report, we say that people want a particular job and they are not getting it? So what work were we doing before the white man came?
Well, we're tilling the land, weren't we?
So I'm always surprised when I hear this report, because those days we were doing some work. So if today we have all of this, including computers, including cars, because we didn't have cars like this, including, and all of this, it means maybe some people don't want to do certain jobs. And also, like you were saying, what are the things that we consume so much in this nation that at least we can do those things to help ourselves, so that government will find out where you have said all those things that I wanted to say, where those opportunities are, and direct the youth to those places, so that nobody will sit down. Nana, thank you.
I thank you too for listening, and even thank you more for calling 0302216541. Low salaries, 500, almost 503,000 workers paid 500 cedis or less a month. Hello, who's talking to me?
Nana, please, this is Patrick.
Patrick, let me hear you.
Good. The way you spoke in, that's all. We don't even need to add up. But then, one of my concern has to do with our secondary schools that are doing agriculture as part of their subjects, and yet they cry for school feeding. These secondary schools have vast lands that they can even grow corn, maize, something to feed themselves. Yet these schools would still be crying for the school feeding food. It's very sad. It's very sad. We have to possibly look at our educational system in a different way. Probably we introduce this skills training, on-the-job training for our youth, for our up-and-coming youth, for them to do something with their hands. And it will help us all, Nana. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And whilst we are pushing them towards skills, we demand excellence, and there must be policies to protect them. The other day we did a thing about standardization, where I said that there should be timelines, so that if a carpenter is fixing a door, there should be a state standard to say it takes you 2 hours to fix a door, and a carpenter earns 80 cedis an hour. Into shadow na 160. Intinye Obama me saying, okay, say a door, front door and a kitchen door. Well, front door 3.5 hours, kitchen door 2 hours. Within the industry, they should know, so that the handyman can put value to his work. So from morning, he knows that, look, I've got a job here. It's an 8-hour job. So today it's 8 hours times 80. That's how much I'll earn today. And yet, saying, Master Mambibi saying your labor costs something. And we should start. We should start. Kakra. I mean, we don't say you can start with everything, but at least some of the major and the basic ones, we can start with them. Hello, who's talking with me?
Hello.
Hello.
This is Francis from Drapon.
Francis, let me hear you. You know, wow, my brother.
Unemployment issue is first, the population is growing over, and well over. We are not able to manage the growth. That's one thing. Number two, our labor force must be looked at very critically. You see, there's educational system now, SHS. People come out and they don't want to go to the field to do the basic job, which is agriculture. Previously, many years ago in the 70s and before then, people in school were assisting farmers, parents to do farming work. So they come out from, say, standard 7 or what we call it, those days, and most of them were able to go to the field to farm. Even those in the secondary schools, during vacations, they were assisting on the farms. So they acquired some skills and interest to go back to the field, do farming. Now, you are in school, you are in secondary school, 24/7, you are on the book. You are going to do this, we call some, child labor. So you come out and people don't want to touch the soil. Simple agricultural settings that are in certain areas, like I live in an area where some people came to establish processing of cassava. That alone has mopped up cassava to a extent that they can't even get cassava to buy.
Wow.
Why? Because many people will not go and farm. And those that are farming are aging. The farming now must be done in more technical manner for people to take interest to go to do it. The normal, the old cutlass and hoe cannot work anymore. So until these systems are revolutionized and done in a different way, and the labor organized in more strategic way, in fact, we are leading to something. Unemployment will continue to grow, whilst demand for many things that we can produce will continue to grow.
Thank you very much. And see, I think at this point, the Ghana Export Promotion Council should be extremely vocal. Maybe all media houses should, give them some 10-15 minutes of free time, because apart from this usual cocoa coffee, there are so many non-traditional things like pepper, yam, cassava, cocoa that other countries are looking for. I mean, they are hungry for. And these are some of the things where, if they tell us which seed to plant and how to plant it, maybe it would push people's interest into these non-traditional exports. Because peppers and coconut and this and that, so that maybe they should be a little bit more vocal at this point when you have, millions and millions of people out there and the youth. Think of partnership. And yes, you can say farmer, now you alone, you're going. Call your brother, get like 4 of you, get a patch of land and do it together. Because you can do a bit more if there's, about like 10 of you, you can cultivate a bit more, and because we are at a breaking point. We are at a breaking point, and if we continue, the unemployment is just going to surmount. Hello, who's talking to me?
Yeah, Nana.
Yes, sir.
Good evening to you.
Good evening to you too.
Yeah, Nana, my name is William.
William.
Yeah, Nana. You see, we have a big problem, and I have always said that I would rather be a hungry free man in this country than be a well-fed slave outside this country. Mm-hmm. But look, Nana, let me tell you, we have like the farming thing you are talking about. We have planting for food and jobs. But to be frank with you, when I went to the market last time to buy tomato, let me call it a single fruit of tomato, or sold to me at 4 cedis. And the second one is Agri Development Bank. What are they developing? They have now gone into universal banking. People are in places like Pandu, Kujra, Abeti, and all those places, looking for just 1,000 cedis to clear land because labor is cheap there, so they can produce at least basic food. Agri Development Bank has turned into something else. So now, my being a hungry free man in Ghana, I'm beginning to revise my notes, Nana. So good evening to you.
Good evening to you. Good evening to you, William. Missed each other. Some way of one necessary. Well, this is the downside of life, folks. My uncle, who was supposed to be the chief of Odumasa, I had an uncle who had to be the chief of Odumasa, and he says, "Oh, I'm getting on in age. So Nana Ansah Kwao, on the month that I'm Nana Ansah Kwao. So Kwakumi said, you go and I'll support you." He's Colonel H.L. Ofosu Apia. Colonel Larry, Uncle Larry, we all call him Colonel Larry Ofosu Apia. So he took me to Odumasa and literally made me chief, and he supported me all through my chieftaincy. Even when he had a stroke and he was on dialysis, he still came and gave me the support. But, the good Lord knows best and took him away from us. And he was a very, he was a giant of a character, so he's very well known, Colonel H.L. Ofosu Apia. Now, his funeral will start from Thursday, 1st of June. They will send him to come to Akropong because he was a presbyter. Come and do all his presbytery rites at the Akropong Christ Church. And then Friday, 2nd June, far past is at 6:30 to 8:45. This is there's a military funeral service. There was a Garrison Methodist Presby Church at Burma Camp. Interment will follow And then the funeral will also be at the Garrison Mess, Arakan Officers Mess at Burma Camp on the 2nd of June. This is a funeral for my uncle, my mentor, the guy who made me chief. Sunday, 4th June, the memorial and Thanksgiving service will be at Ekropon Christ Church. And those of you who are Equipims know that Monday is actually the when the funeral, the family sit, and have their own funeral as a Monday. So Monday, 5th June, the Betna say na yanom sikansa.